So to conclude this, even though if you, when watching these couple of slash shorts, you would see the story, but since I know people would follow up on the newest one. Okay, so because of the dichotomy of the hemispheres, blacks, whites, and Asians have issues with the blacks. Blacks are mainly in the southern hemisphere, right? But because we're all black, there's a balance returning back. So that's when that's where the balance is. So a couple of decades from now, when everything ends, you know, the blacks would never have gotten their fair share ever, since they existed up, starting from the point of, I would say, starting from the point of 10,000 years ago when farming was discovered. We got out of the hunting gathering. But since then, but anyway, but a return back to the end of the world, but the reset of the world. So we're all returning back to us being, that's a good question, because it was actually a million years ago, right? When apes turned into black people and then morphed into Asians and then whites. I think the irony is that, yeah, it's gonna go. So how what? You go to the equator. Equator is the hottest part of the world as the planet heats up, but the um, the counteracting of that is where it's colder, it gets even colder. So I think because people really can't stand cold more than they can stand the heat. People, in other words, people rather be in a hot place than a cold place. So they end up going back to the equator, back to the origin of this all. Um, the way it actually went, it seems like it was from Asia, right? And then the apes went to segued into the Egyptian area. It wasn't called Egypt, but whatever the area that was called, Mesopotamia or something. And that's when they morphed into humans, to black people. And then they spread out back to Africa, turning into Asians, and then into human Asians anyway. And then they, on the Silk Road, went to Europe. And of course, they also spread up north into Japan area. And they spread out everywhere else too, back to Africa in some ways, but more so into the Silk Road. So I guess that's what's happening, literally a reversal. People will turn black back to black people and then back to apes. Incredible.